Hello everyone. Happy Friday for a second time today. Thank you to everyone who joined the earlier podcast, but we had updates on the last 48 hours. And then today we're going to be doing a call in and slightly more topical podcast. But you're free to ring in and talk about anything you like because it's been a while since I did a call in. I think the last one I did was before chaos ensued. So I'm sure some of you will want to vent and rant and get some things off of your chest. So that's what we're gonna do today. Welcome everyone. Just give me a sec. I'll just put the link for the chat in the chat box if you want to speak today. Sorry, my computer's playing up a little bit. How's everyone feeling? We all recovered, I guess I could say, from the last 2 weeks. Mary, I love that picture of our Duchess. She's beautiful, and so are the green earrings. Oh, the one of the cut cover. Yeah, I love that picture. Her eyes just look so fierce. All right, so if you want to join the live chat, the link is. There we go. The link is now in the chat box. Joyce, they are back home with their children and resting. They may have to quarantine a few days. The children, I believe, are too young to have had. Yeah. I mean, are they still doing quarantining in the US? I thought most places kind of dropped that now since everyone's jibbied up. I didn't know the US was still doing that. So what was I saying? Hello, welcome everyone if you're joining us. Hi, Daphne. Yes, our Sussex team is back. You know, I had people message me who aren't even necessarily Harry and Meghan fans, but they have a sense of what's going on, and they're just like, "Is this couple going to be okay?" I feel like they're in danger, and these are people that don't even really. They're not in our little royal bubble, but even they can sense it. So I really do believe there's a changing of the winds that is happening. And it won't be, I think, too long before it now becomes too much of a liability to hate on Meghan. It goes from being a moneymaker to a liability. Shouldn't be able to just target someone like this, so without any sense at all. All right, so I want to start off by saying rest in peace to Dame Hilary Mantel, very highly acclaimed writer here in the UK, Man Booker Prize winner. And she actually received quite a lot of heat because even though she is a dame, she went viral on the internet streets for this article that she wrote about Kate Middleton, where she said that Kate was basically a plastic princess designed to breed. Now, the Daily Fail and the establishment painted what Hilary Mantel said as an attack on Kate. And it actually was not an attack on Kate. It was an attack on the institution that Kate's in and what the institution has turned Kate Middleton into. That's what the critique was. But it was completely twisted by the media. Even the Prime Minister at the time, David Cameron, weighed in, and I believe he was actually abroad on a business trip. So he really had better things to be doing than to be coming to the defense of uh, of Kate over something that wasn't even an insult towards her. And what does it say that a very acclaimed author like Hilary Mantel can criticize the institution for what they did to Kate, or for what she perceives of, as what they've done to Kate, and the prime minister of the country, the number one guy, comes to Kate's defense. But Meghan is bullied almost to suicide for 5 or 6 years and almost mute silence from the institution. Yes, you had the 72 female MPs that came out and spoke for Meghan, but that didn't happen for some time. But you didn't hear anything from the Prime Minister, nothing from Boris Johnson. Nope, silence. And even I think when Priti Patel was asked, she said that Meghan did not experience racism. So when the institution wants to protect who it wants to protect, it will. And I think this situation where David Cameron actually said something about Hilary Mantel's article is proof of that. There's no way, I believe, that the Prime Minister of the country would have said anything unless someone whispered it in his ear. You have to defend the then Duchess of Cambridge. Hilary Mantel was also very kind to Meghan. And she said that that Meghan was too good for the royals. And let me just give me a sec. Let me just find the article because I want to read it out because it was a very good article. And she also she also said that she believed wait, hang on a sec. Yeah, she believed abominable racism led to Harry and Meghan stepping back as senior royals. So I'm reading from an article from the Huffington Post here. It says she was heralded as the symbol of a new Huffington Post article. It's been funny. She was heralded as a symbol of a new modern era for royals, but the same narrative meant Meghan Markle was primed for a fall, according to Dame Hilary Mantel. In a new interview, the Booker Prize-winning author says the Duchess of Sussex was too good to be true and subjected to abominable racism. I think that Meghan was too good to be true, she said. She was a smiling face in a dull institution. She cheered up the nation to no end, or at least men and women of goodwill, Mantel told Harper's Bazaar. I do think abominable racism has been involved. People who say that's got nothing to do with it, well, they need to check their privilege. Referring to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's decision to step back as senior members of the royal family, she added, I'm pleased that it's the marriage that's surviving and the connection with the monarchy that has to go. Because I think almost all of us would have bet that if she left, she'd have to leave alone, though none of us know the details of how this is going to work out. Okay, and then the article goes on to talk about Hilary Mantel's other amazing work. And yeah, she's won numerous awards, written some great award-winning books. I think she does mostly historical fiction, so not my genre. Books on Oliver Cromwell. So not anything that I personally love to read, but a lot of people do, and she's one of the most respected authors in this country. And it's interesting that she is, in fact, a dame, but still willing to be openly critical, I think in a fair way, and just tell it how she sees it. All right, let's go to your comments before we continue. Oh, and thank you to Rahini and Light Side of the Moon. I see you've joined the chat, and I will let you speak in a moment. Thank you. Catherine, none of the royals do anything worthwhile. Excuse me, Catherine. Smiling and waving, I'll have you know, is back-breaking work. They're feeding the people with their presence. And don't you forget that, Catherine. Clearly, the royal family are very much aware of what's going on with Meghan and the press. Probably royal institution paying British media and Australia to lie about Harry and Meghan. Well, at this point, it's so profitable that the institution, like nobody would actually have to pay them to hate on Harry and Meghan because hating on Harry and Meghan pays itself. It's literally $1 million business at this point. Joyce, we still don't know what else was done to Harry and Meghan. We still don't know all of the truth. That is why the book of Harry hasn't going crazy. Yes. And hasn't somebody else released another so-called royal biography just recently? I'm trying not to give it too much attention, but I keep seeing something about this coming up on my timeline. Lady Bird, many people have been critical of the royal family. It somehow only became problematic when Meghan did it. Exactly. Like it's amazing to me how many people who never gave a flipping duck about the royals are now suddenly the biggest royalists and so offended for the royal family since Meghan came along. Now they're just utterly offended and how dare she, insult the royal family and how dare she insult the queen. She's never insulted the queen, mind you. She's always said that she likes the queen and spoken highly of the queen, but that's how they've spun the narrative. Neither Harry and Meghan have ever insulted anyone. They've just spoken their truth. And a lot of people, it would appear, have never stood up to their own friends and family, and it really shows. But of course, women of color are just, especially black women, we're just meant to put up with the abuse and meant to be grateful for being in such circles. But Meghan wasn't grateful, and she didn't need to be. Quite frankly, they should have been grateful to have her. Choda Cece, and I read the article and was very pleased of what she saw and very well the truth. Yes. That's the success. I read somewhere that Angela Levin knew about Jimmy Savile abusing kids and never reported it. Well, she did an interview with Louis Theroux, and she tried to deflect from what she did know, but it was the whole British media, British establishment. They all knew. So Angela Levin was just part of a bigger problem, and I wouldn't expect someone as ruthless and greedy as her to be the one to take the moral high ground and fight for these victims. I don't think anyone within the British press tabloid circles would do that. Nobody at Fleet Street would do that. And if anything, the establishment was protecting him. I mean, was it not Margaret Thatcher that pushed quite hard for him to get that knighthood in the first place? Her economics and her way of thinking, she loved um the Savile personality because he was raising money for charity, and she loved that. Her whole like way of thinking was, well, the people should help themselves, and if you've got this one individual who's raising money via the public, like why did the government need to help you? So there were so many people protecting him. Dorothy Ross, I never imagined that this could happen to two wonderful people, yet let Randy Handy get away with being what he is. Do you know what? Andrew stood there next to the Queen's coffin during the vigil. Not one member of the public dared to try and grab Andy's balls. Not one. No one who walked through that abbey even looked remotely disgusted. Okay, obviously I'm not expecting anyone to try and grab a royal, right? But I didn't even see anybody looking disgusted that Andrew was there. Like, they all looked like they were under some kind of spell. So from what I have seen this past week, they used the situation as a way of rehabilitating Andrew. It seemed that no one really kicked up a stink about it. No one in the media kicked up a stink about the fact that Andrew was pretty much front and center. So I guess we can gauge from that the percentage of people who, I guess, see themselves as royalists don't care about Andrew's presence at all. And they're absolutely fine with it. And what does that say to abuse victims? This has got to have been one of the worst years, I think, for sufferers of abuse. Because society has said loud and clear, we don't care. And that is very, very sad. That is very, very disheartening. I think we're going backwards. And it's just shameful on the Unroyals and on Britain to have someone like that front and center. And it's like all the work that was done to kind of bring us to a point where we were almost holding Andrew accountable, even in the court of public opinion, it's all just gone down the drain. Benjamin, something else needs to happen somewhere else to help draw attention to the ruthlessness of the British press. It will happen. That's the way history usually goes, unfortunately. Yes. I think it is happening slowly, Benjamin. The last week I have seen more articles coming up. Like earlier on in today's podcast, there was a Vogue article, there was an Independent article. So I think little by little, it is happening. But I think it's going to take one major story to tip us over the edge. Right, my voice is getting a little bit croaky. So before we continue to the main portion of the podcast, I'm going to let our two guests speak. So Rahini, hi, do you want to go first? Rahini? Rahini. Hi. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Can you hear me? My headphones is just
Oh, yeah,
my headphone is better now.
A little bit better. It's still a bit. Hello.
Yeah, is it better now? My headphone has died, and I'm stealing internet from the neighbors.
Okay, I can hear you now. Yeah, that's fine. How are you, Rahini? How are you feeling?
I'm stealing internet from the neighbors. First, I wanted to thank you for your tireless work throughout all of this drama. You've been keeping us up to date with everything. Thank you so much. I think we need to lobby to get you a press pass somehow. Maybe get you to. I believe that maybe Uncle Edwina might give you an interview. I think so.
We're calling him now. We're calling him Uncle Edwina.
Uncle, well, that's Baron calls him that, Uncle Edwina. I think he might give you an interview. I'm just saying he might be desperate enough.
I would never. I would never do an interview. I would never do it. Do you know why? Because in like 25 years, they're going to try and Martin Bashir me. In 25 years, I'll try and Martin Bashir me and say that I lured him. That's what's going to happen.
They blame the squad. They'll blame the squad, and the squad pressured him into it, and we manipulated him, and he was paranoid. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. But I was gonna explain my semi-royalist status.
Oh, go on. Go right ahead.
I was going to explain. I believe, for me, it's kind of oh God, I try not to sound petty, but I really want my Black princess. I don't care. Like, I feel if there's no monarchy, I don't have a Black princess, and I'll be pissed.
Yeah.
Like, she's my Black princess. I don't care. She is that. So I wanted to have that. And then too, I grew up watching the effectiveness of Princess Diana. I saw what monarchy could do, the positive impact that he could have. I've seen Harry and his positive impact. Meghan wasn't even married into that family, and she hit the ground running. Do you know what I mean? Immediately, she was a positive impact. And there's a little teeny weeny part of me that's still hoping that they will do that. And then there's the fact that I know that the monarchy is not ceremonial. I keep saying that is a myth that they are pushing to you. They have a lot more power than you think. So as a member of the Commonwealth, I have a vested interest in them getting it right. I really do. So I kind of have to hope. So there's a bit of hope that's attached there. And yes, I do have the memorabilia and the china and the I do, embarrassingly. I do have it. But I think I told Bara, and I remember after the interview that Meghan gave, my mom, my cousin called, my niece, called me with this, hot tea that mommy took down the picture of the Queen off the off the mantle. And for years, there were only two pictures up there: her dead husband and the Queen. And she took down the Queen because she was not fit to be near her dead husband. And I can tell you, I had the best father on the planet. So it was real drama in my house, and she did that. It was really like everybody, it was so, and it was after the interview, and she believed her. And so that's my my background, what I grew up with, and I still have hope. I do have hope, and part of me is disappointed in William. So incredibly disappointed. There was so much high hopes, so much, and I would, I would have been okay if he continued to be useless. He didn't need to get vicious. He could have continued to be quiet and useless and just there. I wouldn't care. And let Harry and Meghan shine. I'd be fine with that. But he decided, because he did not want to work, I am going to tear down the person that's working. And that is so disappointing. He has become a terrible man. And it's really, really sad. And I sometimes wonder if Prince Harry has come to the realization that his brother has put his wife and his children's life in danger. I wonder if there's a quiet moment when he comes to that realization. And I can tell you, my siblings and I, we are really close. Really, really close. I'm the baby. So if I cry, I'm 41, and if I cry, they're going to come running. You understand me?
Well, I mean, didn't we all come to that realization some time ago?
Of my older siblings doing that to me, it's so sad.
Like, what do you mean? Didn't we all, the squad, come to the realization that...
Well, that's us. I'm talking about Harry. I'm talking about him as a person. You have to sit next to this man. This is your brother. This is your brother. You have to come to that realization that my wife and my children's life is in danger because of his action. How do you forgive that? How do you still have a relationship with someone when this is what they do? And you know what is the saddest thing? It is impossible for William to call off the dogs, He cannot stop it now, because they're making too much money.
It's gone too far. Yes, of course.
He cannot stop it. He can't. He cannot. He has sold it. He has sold out, and he just have to ride this wave. But I have a feeling it will turn on him.
But okay, so I totally understand now what you're saying about the whole Summer Royal thing, and you loved Diana's work, and you feel obviously a connection, being Meghan being a biracial woman, but then I guess if the royals were a genuinely good group of people, like they were just rich aristocrats, they gave a good amount of their money away, they were willing to acknowledge the past and make amends for the past, and lobby for some kind of reparations, basically just did the right things and were decent human beings, I wouldn't have a problem with the royals either. I don't think anybody really would. It's just the fact that they choose to be selfish with their power and their privilege, and this is why I think that Harry and Meghan were just always going to be at odds with this institution, because they're working so hard to at least try and share some of that power and privilege that they've acquired. No.
Well, Harry's about impact. He's about your actions, the consequences of your actions, the impacts of your actions need to be something worthwhile. If you aren't helping your fellow man, then why are you trying? It doesn't make sense. That's about having a purpose-driven life. And that is what him and Meghan has always had. And when Meghan talked about her childhood, she was raised to be a helper. She was raised to give of herself, and what she gives is herself. Even to the haters, they say her name and they make money. By now, she should have received an award from the Chamber of Commerce for being such a large jobs creator with these haters. But I mean, if you're not impactful, then don't bother. Don't bother.
Yeah.
And I would prefer that they're not bothered and be cosplaying, because it's truly insulting, especially with their interactions with Black people. It is really, really insulting, demeaning, and it is pushing us back as a society. At this point, we need to be seen as people, as equals. We are not props. We are people.
Yes.
And by them doing that, we are not people anymore. We are not people, and we are props. And it is disgusting, and it is really, really sad. And but watching the coverage tells me that I don't think even if he's remorseful, that there's anything that William could do, or even Charles. And maybe Charles in England, maybe as the king, he might be able to do something. But I don't think he'd want to risk them turning on him.
No, he's got too much, I think, to hide. But thank you so much for explaining your my royalness, and I will let you jump back in later on. Light side of the moon. I will let you jump in a sec, light side of the moon. But can I just say, guys, with Omid, because I can see your comments, some of your comments in the comment section. Omid has a job to do. I generally think that he tries to be fair. Omid has personally messaged me in the past, and he is. I do generally believe that he is a nice person. He's a reporter. He's got a job to do. So please, I don't want any slander or anything negative said about Omid in the comments section, please. Thank you very much. Light side of the moon, I'll let you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wonderful, wonderful. First and foremost, thank you so much for putting together this amazing podcast. I am not a royalist. However, I listen to you and Baron only, and I really appreciate a lot of stuff that you guys bring to the table. A lot of things I never knew about. My mom loved Prince.
Like what in particular? And thank you so much.
Well, I think I didn't know anything about the royal family. I mean, I know they're there, but aside from my mom, really liking Princess Diana when she was around, I barely paid attention to them. I was too busy doing other things, and I am in the States, so it's not like a big deal for us to kind of pay attention to the monarch or anything like that. But when I think the stuff that you guys brought up as far as the complexities within the royal family, right? The layers that are there that I never even would have thought of. The different power struggles that are going on either between Prince Charles, William, the Queen, whoever else. Those are a lot of things that I wouldn't normally have considered. And, you think they're a regular family, but a family that's this powerful, I guess that's a normal part of that process, I guess, for some people. But I am not going to hold you very long. I was making notes
no.
so I could
No, go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so
it's a Friday night, hon.
It's a Friday, right? So, first and foremost,
Oh. Light side, I can't hear you. Hello? Can everyone hear her? It's like she's gone. Is Light side, are you still there? Or is it just me that can't hear you? Oh, they disappear. Okay. Okay, I will let her Light side? Okay, I'll mute her for now, and then we'll try and have you back in a moment. Melissa Johnson, hun, we'll let you go.
Hello, how are you again? Sorry.
Fantastic. How are you, Melissa?
I'm doing good, thank you. As I just want
I think
to echo what
you're a little bit low, Melissa, or is it just?
Sorry.
Speak up a little bit, hun.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Yeah. I just want to echo what the lady was saying. Thank you. Um able to I guess vet and being able to, it's not, it's good, but anyway, I guess I think the only positive thing about them coming to England is, as you said before, it was literally the whole world now eyes is now opening, and I personally think I don't know. It's just the way they were treated. It's just absolutely disgusting, and you can tell the family was really involved in the whole entire situation. It was just too obvious, and it turns out the King of England and Camilla, they don't even live together. So after all of that, they live in separate houses, and I I. I don't know what to say other than that, but in terms of a family, it's never going to be a normal family. Just like the lady said, it's like when you have so much wealth and power and land and whatnot, they were all playing a game, and they've been playing a game before. Before she came in the situation, when she came in the situation, they all banded together, and they started to attack her. It's just I don't know. It's just, to be honest with you, and I don't really understand why people still have hope for Prince Charles to come and save the Commonwealth and change. It's not going to change. He hasn't changed with his family. He hasn't done anything for his grandson. He hasn't done anything for the daughter-in-law. So I just don't understand why maybe as us people of color, we're still waiting for the change. I think we need to make the change, and whether that's demanding for reparations or just cutting clean and trying to find our own way instead of just waiting for another rich like a rich person to come along and come and save us. I think for more than for many hundred years we've come to the realizations that only we can save us, only we can, you know what I mean? Because how can I explain? You know, for us to do the things that we do today, I'm didn't take
So I think you're cutting quite a bit, Melissa. I don't know if it's just me, because I know my internet's a bit funny. Is it sorry, is it just my internet, or can everybody is everybody not hearing Melissa also?
Somebody else. Sorry. I think I must be gone off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think your connection is a little bit bad, Melissa. So I'm just gonna mute you for a sec if you can try and maybe get your connection back up. But thank you so much. I totally hear what you're saying, and maybe it's because a lot of Commonwealth countries and countries of people of color, I think we have such a long history of being colonized, of being controlled, that I think maybe it's for us to, that whole concept that Bob Marley said of, free your mind. And I believe that we can stand on our own if we have strong leaders, if we don't have, Western countries interfering in our policies and politics, if we're able to trade fairly, because there are many, many countries who are, completely independent um, of any type of kind of political union, whether it's the Commonwealth or even the EU, and who still do very well for themselves. So I think it's just looking up and looking forwards and saying, what do we have that is our strength, instead of waiting for an outside force. But I also understand the other side and why people feel that way, which is why I like to open up my platform to everyone. Okay, Marilyn Matthews, would you like to speak, hun?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody in the chat, but I want to give a great thanks to you for the format. You're very, very intelligent, and I really enjoy listening to your podcast.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. I appreciate you being here.
That being said, I'm trying not to get so emotional. I'm of a certain age. Being on the Twitter, internet chat is not of my generation, but I'm so passionate about what I've seen in terms of Meghan. As an American, I feel I have one message to her. You've taken the road of trying to step back, be humble, and take everything that the media and Harry's family has dished out, and it didn't work. It almost cost you your mental health. At this point, it's time to stiffen your back and fight back. Fight back every negative aspect. Like I said, forget Harry's book. Print your own, come out, publish your own book, spilling every bit of tea, the negative things that family has done. It's often said, I hear people say, Meghan is the moment. She is the moment. Sometimes God blesses people, even if it's not their choosing, to be that inspiration that people need. And Harry and Meghan, whether William, Charles, or anybody in that family likes it, they're it. They had the potential to bring out so much good in everyone. That road's not going to be easy because it's going to come with a lot of hate. But I believe that they have the strength, but they've got to cut loose. That family means them no good.
Yeah.
They've got to fight. And maybe that's the American in me. We see things, we're product of our countries, our families, and we see things differently. I think like an American. You strike, I strike back.
Do you know, I literally heard the other day on a TikTok, somebody said, it was an American guy. He said, the hatred Meghan Markle gets makes me want to saddle up on the back of an American bald eagle and ride over the ocean to the UK.
I mean, really, I can't. The fact that when they got out to meet and greet, how Meghan looked coward. How dare they? We don't subscribe to this, you're up here and we're down this. So how dare they make her feel that she has to appear coward to anyone? She doesn't have to cower to Kate. Who is Kate? From my perspective, she doesn't have anything much to offer. That's her choice. I don't want to bash Kate. I don't want to bash any of them. That doesn't move, that doesn't elevate Meghan in doing that. But I do know there are a lot of people that, and even if it's just Americans, Britain is a small island. We can have a lot of power. Push back. It's time to stop just turning the other cheek and letting them just throw everything out at Meghan. She's very intelligent. She's hardworking, giving. Again, they have a lot that they can inspire us to do. They've inspired me in a lot of ways. I feel that I'm a successful business Black woman, but there are different aspects that they've opened my eyes to. Just like in listening to your podcast, Duchess, you have inspired me. And I'm incredibly thankful. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak on your chat.
Oh, thank you. Any time, Marilyn. Honestly, this whole community has inspired me, and it is quite incredible. And I think a testament to Meghan and Harry that they've been able to inspire such a community. So thank you so much, Marilyn. You can stick around and jump in afterwards if you'd like to. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, light inside of, is that light inside the moon? I think we can try you again. You cut earlier.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna be real quick because I don't know if it's because I'm so far away or the internet, but I want to get a couple things out. I know it's Friday and we're chilling, but I know you have other callers on the line, and I will call back again because I mean I listen to you like multiple times a day while I'm working. So
Oh, thank you.
So a couple things. I do believe that the tides are changing in regards to Meghan, especially with this last trip, Queen Elizabeth's trip. And the reason why I say that is because, I noticed some of the posts on Twitters, and I saw a lot more, what do you call it, certified Twitter accounts, like, yeah, that are really speaking out and saying, I don't know why Meghan is getting all the hate. She's just holding her husband's hand. She is literally doing nothing, just showing up and being a support like you're supposed to. I don't understand. So I think, and she's completely silent. We didn't hear her say anything. She was just there being supportive at the funeral, at her mother-in-law's or grandmother-in-law's funeral. And I think that people cannot help but to see the obvious that's there. And the obvious meaning that the attack from the media, the unbelievable and over the top attacks that she has gotten while she was there for absolutely nothing. There are people that see it and they're like, I don't know what this is. This is ridiculous. And you're seeing people speak out more about that. So I saw that shift and I'm like, something feels different, and I don't know how far that's going to go, but I hope that with the squaddies that we continue to do what we're doing, because I do think people are seeing it and are listening. Secondly, I think Kate is really threatened by Meghan. That's what I really believe. I think Meghan embodies a lot of the things that we see in her. She's intelligent. She is trying to do good. She was doing good before she met Harry. Her charity, public speaking. She had her own identity, and that's something that I'm not sure Kate has on her own. And I think when she sees Meghan and sees how close her and Harry are and how well they work together and how powerful Meghan is, I think a lot of women who are used to getting a lot of the attention all the time get threatened by stuff like that, especially the ones that are more privileged and believe that no one else should be stepping into their place. This entire trip with Harry and Meghan has been triggering for me as a Black woman. And I'm saying that because I could see a lot of the things, nonverbal things, the way that Meghan reacted physically, her subtle facial expression. She was really good at keeping stuff in. But we all know what that is when we step into spaces that don't look like a lot of us, whether you're the only Black student in some of your college classes or your graduate courses or in workplaces. And you start getting a feeling like how someone looks at you, how they don't look at you, how they don't make eye contact with you when they're speaking, how they pretend they don't hear you or that you're not there. All of those things. And it may seem like absolutely nothing, but you start feeling it. And just that instance of being ignored makes you more aware of your presence in that space. And it is a psychological thing that I say this a lot on my, on Twitter when I see some Caucasian women or people who are not of color make comments about it's not racism, it's just because she's American and because she did X, Y, and Z. No, there's something else there that you don't understand that we go through.
It's not racism, it's xenophobia.
It's something else, right? Exactly. Exactly. So, it's not like, oh, shut it, you can't make a comment on this, but you really have to understand that sometimes your experiences has a lot to do with, how you see other people and how you understand experiences from someone else that's going through a hard time. Also, we have been silent long enough. I think as Black women, as women of color, we carry a lot of stuff internally, and it's not a good thing to do that. It is stress. It comes out physically. A lot of times our mental health aren't in a good place, and for some of us within as a person of color, mental health isn't something that we talk about regularly. It's I don't think that it is acknowledged. And I think that the more that we don't have a space to talk about it, the more that we don't have someone else like your platform having a podcast, people saying, I've had this experience, us seeing what that looks like in the public is really kind of, for me, liberating, because I'm like, I'm not crazy, and I ask myself, why is it that we feel like we're obligated, or that we feel like we have to carry this stuff still to this day, when we've done absolutely nothing but exist in some of the spaces. And the last thing I'm going to say is that and I try to be respectful to the British community and their culture, because again, like I said, I'm not a royalist. I only came into the royal fold when Harry and Meghan came into the picture, and I saw how badly they were treated. I think that, and this is something I've learned in my adult years, if you're a good person, you're going to be a good person in a good situation or a bad situation. And I think that the royal family has been so used to having things their way and having that power structure that they can choose to do things without and get away with it, that what we're seeing right now with Harry and Meghan is the ugly side of them. They're not that good. Maybe they're not what people thought they were all this time. And in your weakest moments is when you actually see someone's true colors, and I think that that's what we're seeing right now. Yes. And so I'm gonna kick off and let someone else jump in, because I feel like I've been talking for a long time. But those are just a couple of things that I've been processing over the last couple of weeks, especially the last 2 weeks. I felt like it was a whole month that they were there.
Yes. Oh no, absolutely. I wanted to give everybody a space to vent today and have their time to speak, because like you said, it has been very triggering, and I think for some people, and we need this platform and this space to get it out. So thank you so much. I'm actually sorry, like I said, I'm actually going to kick you out because I think more people are trying to get in, and there's only 10 spaces. But thank you so much. Okay, next, J Bird, New York.
We've done absolutely nothing but exist.
Oh, just sort out the echo, J Bird, and I'll let you back in. Miss September, do you want to go?
Oh yeah, hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic, darling. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, I'm not gonna be long, but I saw the funeral, and if I hadn't known that I flew to England to be a part of that, I was so exhausted looking at the coverage. I was exhausted literally, and I'm still recovering from all the meanness. I was telling my husband, I said, these people are mean. I always thought I told him, I said, because I always fantasize, because I watch all these period pieces and whatnot. And I always thought that they were, so genteel and nice and yada, yada, yada. But Charles, William, Kate, they are so mean. And the way the look on Meghan's face when she was standing behind those three women was just like, oh my gosh, Meghan, once you get over this, don't go back there for the coronation. I mean, I know you want to support Harry, and I'm so glad you were there to support him, because I think he needed it a lot, because yes. I mean, the comforting and the whatnot. But the rest of that stuff, and then when it came out for that walkabout, the look on her face was like, run, like that term in Forrest Gump when Jenny tells Forrest to run, Forrest run. I felt like I wanted to tell Meghan, just to run, Meghan, run. Or maybe not even go out with them. Say, y'all just do your thing. We'll hang back, just like we did at the Jubilee or whatever. Just hang back and just let them do their little walkabouts and the handshakes and whatnot. Because, because they gave these people a false hope that, oh, they're getting back together again, when they know that that was nothing of the sort. And then the last thing I want to say is, when I watched when they were coming from Westminster and getting into the car, and Harry let out that big sigh or whatever, they must have felt like they were on a treadmill 24/7, because they just looked exhausted. She looked beautiful. She paid respect. She can't cry. She can't. The girl, she can't do nothing. She can absolutely do nothing right in their eyes. The hatred is so unbelievable to me. There's a term, it's a political term called anticipatory obedience, and I read it in this book called Tyranny, and how things can go really awry in the political system and stuff. And what that means is, like, they got away with saying little things in the beginning to little little things here and there. And when the people didn't push back or say, why are you saying these things about Meghan? Then they step a little further and further. And once they got into that comfort zone, even her father was complicit in all of this stuff, and once they felt like, oh, no one's going to check us on this, then they went whole hog. And that's what anticipatory obedience is, because people don't speak up and they don't say anything. And then the Sussex Squad came along, and then they were like, wait, what? You're not supposed to say anything. Because Tina Michelle was the first ones I heard about.
Yes.
And then now I listen to everyone in there and everything. So I just feel like Harry should just say, if you want not to give the kids titles, fine. Don't give them titles. If you want to take the Sussex title, I wouldn't give it back to him, because the Queen gave it to him. So they have right. But the rest of those fools, I'd be done with them. Just like, you know what? Do your thing. Do your whatever they do, those walkabouts or whatever, because they're not doing anything. Meghan saw they're not doing charity work. They're just doing walkabouts, cutting ribbons, this and that. They're not doing anything. So that's all I have to say. This has been the longest week, and I heard that their podcast is coming back next.
Oh, sorry, you cut off a little bit there, mid-September. But yeah, I believe that archetype should come back next week. So let's cross our fingers. Okay, we're gonna have Mina Ruth, then Valerie, then Karen, and then Pauline. I'll let you before one of them, if you could just get your device connected properly, because it's saying device not connected. But Mina, go right ahead, hun.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Happy to have you here.
Yes. My heart goes out to Harry and Meghan, especially Harry, for losing his grandmother, since she was, like, I guess, a mother figure to him. And it's just really sad to see them go through and deal with all this BS that they're going through, especially with Meghan, because she does not deserve that at all. Her only crime, I think, was just marrying a prince who happened to be white, who was born into an establishment that is just not used to having a person of color in their family. But the crazy thing is, their ancestor was a black queen. Do they not realize that?
Which are you talking about? Is it Princess Charlotte? No, Charlotte was her name?
Yes. Queen Sophia Charlotte. She was black. So it's just, and not to mention, didn't Queen Victoria adopt an African princess who became her daughter?
Are you talking about the one who's in that famous painting? I forget her name. I think it was Belle something. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I believe so.
She was adopted and lived as an aristocrat, but I think the last of her descendants died off some time ago. But yes, I know the one that you're talking about.
Yes, so
yeah, but I don't. I think with Belle though, I don't think she was ever really at the heart of the institution, and I think that's what's the problem with Meghan is she's at the heart of the institution, giving birth to biracial heirs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what really got under their skin and still gets under their skin.
Yeah. And then you have people, even I think here, I know mostly in the UK, but you got people here that just dislike Meghan. I'm like, for what? She hasn't done nothing wrong to anybody except love a man who loves her, who treats her with respect and adores her. It just really pisses me off. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cuss.
No worries at all. But thank you so much for your 2 cents, Mina.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Valerie, gonna add you to the chat, Han?
Yes. Good evening, Duchess. Can you hear me at all?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly, darling.
Yes. I was looking at the Royal Correspondence. It's a program, and it talked about other European houses of Europe, and I noticed that the queens and the princesses there, they're elegant speakers. They were either speaking in the UN or organizing women's education, etc., etc., etc. And I've come to realize that the problem, what we have in England, we have a bunch of really ignorant and useless people. And I think that another thing, what I've noticed, the reason why Princess Mary wasn't uninvited for the simple reason because she and her husband, Prince Frederick, Crown of Denmark, they're another affectionate couple. They are a lot older than William and Harry, William and Catherine, and they look young, and Catherine and Harry and William look old. I think that the royal family are far more superstitious than we really know. It is alleged, I don't know from what I was researching, that they said a prince would marry a woman of color. Nobody knew who it was. And I think that what their biggest fear, when you fear something and it comes to pass, that is why they've gone like overboard. Also, if you also notice is that, and I strongly believe Harry was never supposed to marry at all, because whoever Harry married, they were scared of. Also, I discovered that why William treats his Catherine the way he does is because he never wanted to marry her. He was in love with Isabella, this woman called Isabella. I think she eventually got married to one of Richard Branson's sons. She got married to Richard Branson. So she too was an actress.
So there was Isabella, and there was also Jessa, the one who lives in Kenya, I believe.
Yes. And apparently and another thing too with Catherine, when Harry went out with Cressida, she is Isabella's half sister or something like that. So the issue with the royal family, they are not as elegant, they don't speak very well, and they're very, very ignorant. The men, they prop up them, but their wives, they're very, very ignorant. They're not elegant like Meghan. So Meghan is everything what they are not. So yes, they pin the fact on her race, her American, all these different things, because she is more elegant. She is more queenly than they are. And what is shocking is that Catherine has been in the royal family for 10 years, and she still can't speak. Remember the issue with her when Mrs. Biden came and they were going to speak about child,
Yeah, I remember that.
And then they said that they can't ask questions or something. And then Mrs. Biden was upset and said, "Oh, but we were going to. I had so much questions to ask." I think one of the sad things and I think what I've come to realize. You made a very good point. I didn't realize it. You talked about the monarchy and the crown, and I think what the crown has cleverly done is got you to worship the orb, the scepter, and the orb, the scepter, and the crown, but nothing else. And it's just illusion. And what has happened? Somebody like Meghan come in and show everybody what nonsense you're worshipping, what nonsense you think, because Charles is not fit to be king. His child mother is not his child mother. His wife is not fit to be queen. William is not fit to be king. Catherine is not fit to be king. None of them are fit at all, and that's the truth.
Well, I mean, Meghan definitely exposed their lack of work ethic, innovation, and creativity. That's for sure. Yeah, I agree with you there.
They're not fit at all, and they know that. And what I think it is now the glass has been exposed, the illusion, and that is why there's this rage, this anger, because another question, why is Sophie looking so angrily at Meghan? They're all standing up there. What is it about her husband and why is she so angry? I don't know what's happening with her and her marriage, but it seems to me that all of them is just illusions.
It's quite interesting to observe people who do have so much privilege and wealth and riches, but they're still so miserable. But thank you so much, Valerie, for your comments and always chiming in. Thank you. I will
Thank
let.
you.
Oh, just give me one. No worries, hun. Next we have. I can see there's more of you trying to come in. Valerie, I'm just gonna kick you out to make some room because there's more people who want to come in. And I will let. Right, who was? I think J Bird. I think you wanted to speak, but there was a bit of an echo. Did you get that sorted out? Hello. Hello, J Bird. Okay, we'll try again later. Karen, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing, sweetheart?
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, sorry. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta. Okay, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you. Go right ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I thought
I
you
can hear you.
couldn't.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm wonderful.
No,
Thanks.
loud and clear.
Hi, squaddies. Hi, everyone. It's so good to hear all of you, hear all your voices, hear all your comments. It's kind of therapy for me, and I'm sure it's for a lot of people as well too. Just want to touch on a couple of things. The last caller that mentioned about Sophie, before I forget, I just want to mention that I was looking at that picture and it just reminded me of there was a show that used to come on, and there's a guy in that show called Jethro. Byron would remember this, and she looks so much like Jethro's grandmother. If anyone have seen that show, it's a very old show. They would know what I'm talking about. The grandmother wore her hat and everything just like that. Looks exactly like how Sophie there is looking. And, it just reminds me of that as soon as I looked at it. Byron would know exactly who I'm speaking about. I'm trying to remember the name of the show, but I can't. But it's a funny show. It's a comedy show. It's very funny, and uh, that's exactly it. I didn't want to forget.
All right. Go ahead.
I wanted to say it's so exciting now that we're having this conversation and today and with the the funeral that happened. that there's so many people today, people who were on the fence, people who were not paying attention before, people who were confused, um, to see that, you know, they have meet to the stage that we were, from the beginning of
Yes.
all this happening, that
Yes. We've
they've
been
come
way
to
ahead.
that they've come to the understanding and seeing what we have seen, and and know of, before, and why we had to start, why this group had started, why the Sussex Squad had started, and what Sussex Squad is all about. It's so, it's so exciting to see this, and it's also exciting to see that, people are also seeing themselves and their situation in this whole thing that's going on, and what Meghan is going through, what Harry is going through. You know, regular people like us are going through the same thing, and they can see themselves in this, and help to save their self, and save their relationship, and say, and you know and protect themselves from this, from this kind of abuse. So I my heart just goes out, to those people out there, to the Sussexes, as well as the people out there who are going through this kind of thing, because we live it every day. Every day we live this. um your caller Melissa, um I felt so good listening to her. She sounds like a very young person, and she touched on something that's, I'm, really amazed, of her that age, actually noticing. And she says, that why is it that we feel that we need someone to, um, to basically rule over us, or to be in control over us. Like, why do we need that? Okay, we have, you know, um, and I can understand where she's coming from. There's people who, say for instance, the queen is the head of state, and all this was brainwashed into their head. So they're feeling that this person is a mother, or some kind of protection, or a controller for them that keeps them safe. No, that's not the case. It's not the case. That's not what it is. This is just a figurehead who just, we just grew up being told that this person's a queen, or whatever, and you know um we just accept that. But when you grow up to come into realization, that's not what it is. It's not somebody there to protect you. It's not somebody there to think. When you go back in history, it's colonialism. This is how they operate. They capture. It's a captivity. It's a bondage. It's what you hold into, right? This is not somebody that's, that is this powerful person that they were just placed there. Okay, and now you can see that she's gone. There's somebody else that's placed there to hold you into this place. Okay, why do you need that? You don't. Okay, you can be your own leader. You can be the master of your, of your situation, of your destiny, of your country. You don't need somebody to tell you how to be, and what to be, and how far you can go, and how much money you can make. You don't need that. Okay? I can't, I'm battling understanding this, and I can't, because the country I came from, we got rid of the queen a long time ago. We didn't spend any time in there. So I'm used to the freedom. I'm used to not being, you know, held and told by anyone. So it's very, very, confusing for me. I know of independence, and it's very confusing that people wants to have to stay in this captivity, when you look at it today, that you don't need to be there. I understand our foreparents were there because they had no choice. Okay, because this is what were given to them and told to them. But we today, we don't have to be in this. We don't have to live in this. Our young people don't have to. So, I really praise Melissa for having that question, and I hope she follow it through. So it's I hope she goes further in that. The other thing I want to touch on, there's there's a thing when you when somebody tells you about their experience with racism, when somebody is talking to you about it and is telling you about it, and you're having that discussion. But there's a difference when you experience it yourself. Okay? There's a different impact when you actually experience it yourself. Okay? Like a lot of people are saying, well, Meghan is she is like color, she had privileges, she had all these different stuff, and whatever. Okay? And she experienced her mother going through it. It wasn't an impact for her, but she saw what her mother went through. And in her podcast, she mentioned that she never knew what um, her mother was going through, or her mother felt until she met Harry, something to that effect. Like she never experienced racism in until she met Harry, or the impact of racism until she met Harry. Yes, because people didn't look at her as a Black woman.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was able to slide through and underneath, but she experienced seeing her mother going through it. Okay, but the feeling that her mom had, she didn't have that, because the whole impact was not on her. Now she is the Black woman in this family.
Yes.
Okay, so now she is feeling the impact of how her mother felt when she actually went, because now it's hitting her direct, because now she is the Black woman. She is not the in between anymore. She's not the other anymore. Okay, they give her a status. They placed her where they want to place her, not where she want to be, but where they want to place her. So now she is the Black woman who is getting the impact of what her mother was getting as the Black woman.
And the fact that she's in this very privileged position doesn't, lessen the hurt, and doesn't necessarily lessen the impact.
No,
and that's what I think that a lot of people forget. But thank you so much, Karen, for your input. Always lovely to speak, and always appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Always to you too. Take care.
No worries. All right, ST, how are you, darling?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Oh, wow, I've never done this before, so.
Oh, well, welcome.
Yeah, I usually just type in, but I mean, I just want to kind of, be honest and stuff. I think, I guess I'm kind of surprised that people are shocked by this. My mother was born 1940 in Georgia, and, I always learned that if you have an eighth of Black in you, you're Black. And so I think that other people are also kind of naive about the history, whether it's people from the Netherlands, whether there's people from Belgium who went into the Congo and maimed different people, groups of people of color, whether it's been Aborigines in Australia being mistreated. The same people that colonized America came from Britain. So it's just not that shocking to me, because I think what it is that there's different people within different regions, and they, have a different idea of how they think the world should perceive them. But that's just not the reality of the world. the reality of the world is if they know that you have a Black mother, you are considered Black. That's it. You're not pure in their eyes. You're not a WASP. You're not any of that. And so I just think that probably one of the situations, and because I'm completely Sussex Squad. I want them to succeed. I want them to do great things on this earth. I really do. I just think that there was some kind of naivete in terms of how they thought these people over in Britain would treat her. And that's just not how it goes with Caucasian people. I have to say it that way because it's true. It's just not. And I think another big problem was that I think if Meghan had been born like in the South and her mother, I just don't think, she would have expected someone to, treat her like she wanted to be perceived, which is biracial. But maybe in California, you can get away with that. But I'm from the East Coast. My mother was from Georgia. She taught me well about different groups of people. And I just don't think that people understand the evilness of certain groups of people when it relates to people of color. And so to kind of have this idea of, okay, this is how I want to be treated, that's just not going to happen. And I think the quicker that everybody really understands the history of certain people and how they have done people of color, this is no surprise. I mean, I have seen burned bodies lynched from a tree. Okay. I've seen a bunch of Caucasian people standing around lynch bodies. Okay. Smiling. I don't want to be, I'm just saying I've heard pregnant women were burned at the stake in this country in America. I mean, it's disgusting. I read The Heart of Darkness from Joseph Conrad. The stuff that they did in the Congo, disgusting. And so I just think that, I just wanted to call in real quick. I usually definitely don't do this. I'm very nervous. But I appreciate the support that people are giving. I just think that, at some point you're going to have to know how the world treats you and hold your head up high, embrace who you are. Whether someone sees you as Black or half, it doesn't matter. You embrace who you are. And that's what she's done. I appreciate that about Meghan, that she has held her head up high in the face of adversity. But it's no surprise to me. And, but I did want to ask, do you think Charles is going to hold their kids' titles, if Harry doesn't say what he wants him to say in the book?
Well, first of all, thank you for calling in and being so vulnerable, and being that you don't usually call in. As far as the titles go, my honest answer to that question is I just don't know. Because technically speaking, they are prince and princess. So whatever Charles is going to do, it's to basically remove at this point, as opposed to either remove or just officially state. And that's going to be a very interesting thing if he decides to remove those titles or remove at least the HRH styling, which is what he could do. And as what you're saying about not being surprised, as much as I 100% agree with you about the history, I guess it's just in my heart, I'm just a person that I give everybody a chance to show who they are. I give everybody a chance to show whether they're a kind person or whether they're a hateful person, and then I'll judge you on that. And I wonder if in Harry's case, he thought that regardless of what the media did, and we know that the British media have attacked his girlfriends in the past, But regardless of what the media did, at the very least, his family and the institution would perhaps defend his new girlfriend, who then became his wife. And perhaps it was Harry then that was a bit naive. And because that didn't happen, they didn't defend him, because I believe if his family had defended Meghan, then we wouldn't be where we are now. And perhaps Harry just thought, I've done well by my family. He has, I think, been really much a positive face since his mother died for that family, that maybe they would pay him back by protecting his partner, and that just didn't happen.
I just think it's important. This will be the last thing, because I like to type, but I just think everybody, the history, what's going on is history is being destroyed. History is being silenced. And if people really were to actually go back, whether you're in America, whether you're in Belgium, where you're whatever, whatever history, it's been manipulated. I took a really interesting college class at the University of Washington, and there is a thing called language management and language policy, and it's based on hegemony. I don't know. I didn't know what that word meant, but it has to do with things being so controlled, as in terms of whether it's standardized testing. It's meant to deny you access. It's meant to present a case that's defined. And most things that we read in terms of history is based on a fairy tale, and it's based on who wrote it, who and how do they want to portray themselves. And so in this case, these colonists and all these other people, they were conquerors. Okay, so that's how the history books are written. But the fact is, this has been by the majority, so they can present something to the world to make it look like their crimes they weren't crimes. They weren't crimes. Yeah. But that's it. I mean, I'm not used to this. I could go on and on forever. I'm all over the place. I really think I have your book.
Yeah.
I have your book.
Oh, which one?
The Way of the Wildflower.
Oh, thank you so much for buying it. Thank you.
So I've got a lot going on, but I haven't had a chance, but I did skim through it, and I'm hoping I can get to that peaceful place where I can just kind of sit and read a book and enjoy it and get some enlightenment, Well, so I
hope it gives you some inspiration, and thank you so much for calling, ST. And I think what you've said is quite interesting, and feel free always, all of you listening, to DM me on Twitter or Instagram. And if you actually want to set up a panel where we have more in-depth conversations on very specific topics, I am more than happy to do that. So thank you so much, ST.
I love that. I love that. I love to talk about racism. I love to talk about it because it's so important. So much has been lost and stolen from us as a group of people that it is evil. But I'm hoping for better days ahead.
Yes, we still have the hope for better days.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, Bonnie 10 Powell, I'm going to let you go. Welcome to the live chat, hon.
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry. Before you go, Bonnie 10 Powell, just very quickly, I have to say thank you to Jeanette Lavali for the super chat. And to Minerva Martin for the super chat also, and to Dorothy Ross for the PayPal. I did see that. And Kat Harlem, if you are listening, I'm so sorry. I missed your super chat yesterday. I didn't realize until I watched the chat back, but thank you so much also. And Lily Lamore, there is no number. Just hit the pinned message, and that will let you enter the chat. I'm probably going to have to change the topic of this video, because I feel like now that we're going over like an hour 30, I'm not even going to get to the main topic of what I was meant to talk about. But I can have that conversation another time. I think the conversation that we are having now is absolutely amazing, and you are all making amazing points. So I just want to continue allowing you to have your 2 cents. And the main topic of today how the royal family is, whatever issues the royal family are going to have, we can have that conversation another day because you all are being amazing. So B10 go right ahead.
Hi, Duchess. I wanted to say thank you. I love your podcast. I'm still a working person, so it's a little difficult for me. I'll be short. What I want to say is, I'm a squattee. We're
B10 you cut for a second there. B10 hello. All right, I'm gonna mute your mic, or try again. Can you hear me? All right, I'll mute your mic for now, and we'll try you again after the next caller. So sorry about that. Okay, I was gonna let Pamela in, but she seems to have disappeared. I think Fatimata, I'll let you in. Go right ahead, hon.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Fatimata. How are you?
Good. I just joined, so I don't know what was the topic we were talking about.
Well, I mean, you can just whatever you feel like saying this evening. It's just open.
I was just wondering. I really wanted to ask you something because I don't know where you get your guesses from, but you always right. You and Michelle from the Sussex Squad podcast. You always right at the end. So I saw on Twitter a squaddy kind of published a small excerpt from an article about Prince Charles really wanting to exile the Sussexes permanently. Do you think that's true, or is just another reporter guessing? Do you think that he would do that? Because I kind of believe it, because I think they were really frightened after the reception in Düsseldorf and what happened to the one young girl. How all the press was excited to see them, even though they were talking trash about the Duchess, but they all seemed quite excited that they were coming back. So, do you think that the press will let him do that, or do you think that it's just an imagination from?
I mean, when to be honest, when it comes to anything printed in the press, obviously I'm always cautious, and ultimately they print to get clicks and to make money, not to tell the truth. I think if we want to make any guesses as to what's going on as outsiders, well, you only have to look at what the family has done, and what have they done? They haven't said anything about the abuse towards Harry and Meghan. They have cut their security. They have made it very difficult for them to get security in the UK. So I don't even think we need to really look at what's being said in the press versus what's being done by the family to get the answers we need.
Yeah, absolutely. I really thought, because they were so in the hot topic right now is let's go conquer America. I thought they would be a little diplomatic about the way they treat Prince Harry, since he is the Prince of America right now, and Meghan, he's the Princess of America. So I just thought they seem to want to conquer America. So I thought it would be a little bit soft. But yes, and also because the way things were going on the past 10 days, the way they were briefing, do you think that they were really trying to finish, I'll put that in quote, the Duchess this week? Because they were trying, it's almost like, I think they were trying to use the death of the Queen to kind of, because they try everything else, the Duchess still going strong. You think they were, because it was terrible, do you think they were using that to kind of finish her? I'll put that in quote again, for UK, because they were brutal, really brutal. I don't read what they write. I follow Squad is what they were thinking, but from what I understand and what you reporting, you and Baron, I think it was horrible. It was quite nasty.
I mean, for what reason would you, during the funeral of your head of state, be focused on bullying a lower ranking duchess? Is the only thing I guess I have to say to what you've just said. For what reason would you do that, right?
It was because I was shocked that that gathering that Prince William keep bragging about, that he made it happen. That Richard Kay, I think one of the squaddies was saying that he was handed the text messages that happened, that it was exchanged between them. And then I go, why in the world would you do that? And the way they were talking about it, it just it's casually. It's almost like well.
Oh, are you talking about that? The Richard Kay article that was leaked the day after the walkabout, right?
Yes, that he had a. I saw. I think it was Pagan that was saying that he was handed almost handed, or at least he saw the text message that the brother exchanged, walkout or walkabout. So
yeah, I mean, it just shows
I'm really
that
confused. I know yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why would you leak about text messages? Why would you talk about that? And again, during a funeral, like, this is the time where you would think that things would be drama free and just seamless. And I think the fact that it wasn't and it turned into such a circus just proves why Harry and Meghan just aren't safe there. But thank you so much, Fatimata, as always.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. I can see so many of you are trying to get in the chat. So I think, thank you, Fatimata, for leaving, because it will give a little bit more room to other people trying to get in. Okay, B10 Powell, let's try you again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Fantastic.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna be quick. All I want to say is, we as squaddies, we are supposed to be the wind beneath the wings, the Sussexes wings. That's all we need to be. We also need to realize that Harry is processing this terrible experience that they're living. And Meghan also, she needs to be strategic. Lashing out at every turn is probably not the best thing to do. We also need to be, as squaddies, we can be helpful or we can be hurtful. I remember when they were invited to the ceremony, there were comments like, what is she going to be wearing? Is she going to be wearing a tiara? And then suddenly came the disinvite. We cannot jump the gun. We've got to be steadfast and, again, just be the wind beneath their wings. We also should respect whatever decisions they make. They're going to make the best decisions for themselves. And we're just here to champion their cause. That's all I want to say, Duchess. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Love your podcast.
Oh, no. Thanks for coming in and supporting as always, B10 Pal. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll just kick you out, B10 Pal, just so we can make room in the studio. Thank you. Alrighty. Jaybird, did you? Sorry, I'm losing track a little bit. Jaybird, did you speak already? Or were you still trying to figure out your sound? Have you figured it out yet?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe it. You would never know I work on computers.
Yeah, technology ain't on us. I saw someone in the chat saying the planets are in retrograde and Saturn's jumping around and twerking around, so that's why the internet isn't working.
Oh, that absolutely. That Mercury retrograde we're living for all of that. But I have to say, first and foremost, you are doing God's work.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, really, truly. Because Gail hit the nail on the head. It is so triggering. I have to take all of this in moderation. Like this past couple of weeks, I have to take it in moderation because there's so much empathy towards the Sussexes. But there's also so much identification, and I believe several women have already spoken about, just being a Black woman trying to live your daily life. I would love it if you would do some sort of panel, because if it did anything, I think this week showed us there's no more time left to hold in everything that we're dealing with. I just feel this rising up, because as long as, we've had, your leadership and our previous leadership, there's always been that underground swell of, I don't want to say words that might trigger anything, but there's an underlying January 6th happening. And that whole evil force coming, towards anybody who wants to achieve, right? On the other side of that, we have a BLM, we have, the push against the monarchy and the, there's another word, I can't think of it right now. But the point is, what got me thinking was yesterday in America was Black Women Equity Day. I don't know if you have anything. It's Black women, it's specifically Black Women Pay Equity Day. It's September 21st. And it's that day specifically because it shows how long it takes for a Black woman in America to earn what a white man earns in a year from the year prior. So it takes us 1 year and 3 quarters to make what a white man makes in a year. The idea that there are so many Black women who pull up and snatch their hair back and wear their black pantyhose and, do everything that a Meghan does, intelligent, just can run the world. There are so many Black women who do that every day. And we don't get the pay. We don't get the recognition. In fact, we get the marginalization. We get shunted over into a corner, made to feel like we are smaller than we really are. That's happening right now. And I'm feeling like this, just seeing all of the feedback that people have gotten. Kick me off anytime. Tell me to shut up. I will go. I won't keep too much of your time.
Go on, finish your point.
The point is that there's a groundswell and push and an acknowledgement of how Meghan has been treated, but Black women are being treated like this every single day in their everyday life. We have to not only get under her wings and push her up, but we need to push all of ourselves up, because we know stuff. We know what we know. It is so clear that Meghan knows and why she is such a threat. She knows. She saw. She is. She discerned what happened, even if she wasn't in it. She knows, and it's very clear that her and Harry have a lot of knowledge that will bring down this monarchy. It's just you don't treat somebody like that unless they are a threat. And Black women see that every day. I know, I've lived it. It's why I live my life under the radar, because I know I have discernment. I'm not the only one. There are so many Black women who, in fact, do. Without rambling any longer, my point is that you've brought us together for a reason. And I will continue supporting you, but there seems to be a lot of women who have found the courage to speak up and speak out. because we've been silenced. And when I watched Meghan this week, I felt, especially when she got out of the car, it looked like somebody had really intimidated her. And I felt that really kind of like stupor of having gone through some sort of harshness that she should have never had to do, because it's clear she knows something that they don't want her to say.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your words, and I think you're absolutely right. She did not, that particular day, she did not look like the Meghan that we're used to seeing. The Meghan that we saw days prior in was it Dusseldorf for the 1 year to go to Invictus Games. And you know, to your point about, you know, they know that Meghan and Harry know things that could bring down the monarchy. I don't think that Harry and Meghan themselves actually want to bring down the monarchy. I just think they want to get on with their business. It's just the monarchy are so threatened by their presence, and they're so focused on bringing down Harry and Meghan that they don't realize that they're also digging the grave for themselves. Do you think that's the case?
I do feel that, you know, it's just watching feedback in British TV, and I watch a lot of British TV anyway. Everybody talks about this book. Everybody talks about the book that he's about to, you know, release, and, you know, what does she have to say? And just, I always listen to what they don't want you to hear. And they do not want us to hear or see or know about what he has in his book. Now, it may not be anything. It may not bring that's you know, demonstrative. It won't bring down the monarchy, but it's definitely going to question. They don't have anybody strong to divert all of their, like the Queen. They don't have a strong figurehead. They just don't have it anymore. Yeah. And they can't have any cracks. And this is a chasm. Harry and Meghan represented a chasm. If I can just say one small thing, I watched The Crown for the first time, the first season, and I was astounded at how there were no cracks. They allowed it one time, and it almost brought down the monarchy. And it was because they allowed one person to just have one little bit of a way. And that whole scene just reminded me of Harry and Meghan. They allowed him to have a conversation, you know, have a relationship with a woman who they can't control. So anyway, I feel like there's something that they keep talking about this book.
Yes, they're clearly scared. Yes. At the end of it, like, I feel like this is something that they do almost every single time. They know that Harry and Meghan are going to speak. They just seem to panic, and they reveal themselves more than whatever it is that Harry and Meghan were probably ever going to say. But thank you so much, Dol, for ringing in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to let. Wait, there's a couple of you. Colleen, have you spoken already?
No, not yet.
No, you haven't spoken. Okay, I'll let you go next. Go right ahead, darling. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, you're hearing me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Thank you for letting me in your space and giving me this opportunity to share.
No worries. Go right ahead.
What I'd like to share is, when people say there was no racism, we know that's not true, or she was welcomed with open arms. Yes, technically yes, because they thought Harry was just having a fling, because that's what they're used to. So if it's a fling, it will end soon and she'll be forgotten. They did not expect to hear that Harry was in love with Meghan and they were going to get married. They were not prepared for that. So because they could not stop him from getting married to her, they have to hate on her. And the only way for her to just go away, that she couldn't face it, so she's not going to stay, and they would have Harry again. The fact that she stood up to them, they started all kinds of lies on her. That's where it is. And sometimes you hear people, oh, but I have a black friend, or I have black friends. Yes, because that's what society dictates. So having a black friend, oh, she's good, she has black friends, nothing is wrong with her. But if you should go on their internet presence, look on what they like, look on what they comment, you would see that they're racist through and through. But because they're hiding behind these black friends, nobody's taking a note that they're racist. Or my children have black friends. So I am not racist. Yes, their children have black friends because black people can afford to send their child or children to any school now. And they are no longer at the bottom. These children are bright. They are pretty. They're intelligent. They have more money than the white people. So it's the white children who are befriending them. So it's not that they even want black friends, but it's because they have to keep up with the trend and the time. So hiding behind that I have a black friend, and sometimes black people within, because they were so cultured to believe that they are the least, having a white friend, they are so overwhelmed that they're not even seeing or realizing that they're being used. Like sometimes they see them as their helpers. So, oh, could you come over and help me to fix my roof? Could you come over and help me to clean? Because they are using them as their helpers and they are not even aware.
Well, I mean, we've certainly seen this with the, Charles, and even like this last week with Sophie, and using kind of black faces as props, and that's really unfortunate, because at the end of the day, the Commonwealth countries are predominantly black and brown people, and at this point of the game, we should be able to stand on equal footing and have equal conversations. But thank you so much for calling in, Colleen.
Can I make one more quick comment?
Go on. Yes, go on.
Yes, one with Don Lemon, when that woman owned him. I am not feeling sorry for him. Do not speak on topics that you are not aware of or don't know.
Sorry, is this Don Lemon? Is this a CNN anchor? Is that the guy? Sorry, I'm not aware of what happened.
Oh, he was having a conversation with this British. She's a lecturer on I think colonization and cultures and those things. And she was telling him, when he was demanding reparation, when she said it was the black people who sold out the black people within their country, so why not ask them for that too? And he could not answer. And a lot of people are not aware that colonization took place in and outside of a country. You have those that you go in your country and
Colleen, you seem to have.
I'm gone again.
I can hear you now.
Okay, those who are without the country, they withhold like aid that the country need. So they can't go indirectly to a country because the terrain, they'll not be able to find anybody, or they could be ambushed. So a lot of people are not aware that they use the very own people against themselves because they withhold the things that they need, so they have no choice but to round the people up as they have asked and send them off.
But either way, I feel like that whole argument that lady brought up is a straw man, and it's one that's used quite frequently to shut down any conversation about the wider effects of colonization and the slave trade. So, but thank you so much, Colleen.
Also, can I one more with Meghan mental health?
Okay,
just 2 minutes. with Meghan mental health, as people are not aware. I am a trained midwife, and a lot of people do not understand that when a woman is pregnant, they just see that she's pregnant and she has a big belly and a baby is growing within her. People are not aware that the amount of changes that takes place in her body. Her heartbeat change, her smell change, her everything changes about her. And one can set off a woman because sometimes she was not ready to be pregnant. I'm not saying Meghan. She didn't want to be pregnant at the time. Stress of the whole change that is going in her.
Okay, you're cutting quite a bit, Colleen, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut you out, but thank you so much. Nadine Palmer, I'm going to let you in, hon. Go right ahead. Nadine, you've muted yourself, so you need to unmute yourself, sweetheart. Nadine? Okay, and Dean doesn't seem to be... Okay, I'll maybe let you in later. Reba, do you want to speak?
Yes.
Hello, Reba. How are you?
I'm fine. Hello, Duchess Anne and Squaddies.
Hey.
I want to say, I believe a lot of the last 2 weeks we saw with the treatment of Meghan and Harry had to do with Camilla. Camilla knows Harry does not like her. Never has. He blames her for the death of his mother. She knows this. Charles knows this. They said, I read a report where they were saying that Harry always gave her the stink eye. She stood there with the rest of them, Kate and Sophie, and acted like she had did nothing, which tells me she did everything. This woman destroyed Harry's mother, and she don't care about destroying him. Meghan grew up here in Los Angeles, where I am. I grew up with her mother, who lived 2 blocks away from me. She was a good girl, decent, honest, worked hard. And she trained her daughter to do the same. And I am insulted, really insulted, by the way I saw these women treat this girl during this funeral. They are so afraid of what Harry is going to write in that book about Camilla. Nobody else. They are worried about how Harry can tear this skank down.
I don't know if I entirely agree with you. It would just be about Camilla.
It's not going to be all about Camilla.
Like
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Harry has facts. He has information that no one else has heard of. Why is Camilla in bed with the Daily Fail? Why? Because she can use them to attack Harry and Meghan. And that's what she's been doing. Kate and William, they dumb. William is so stupid that he has gotten in bed with Camilla, the woman who is the cause of his mother's death, to separate him from his brother, which is his help, his support. How do you throw away your only brother for what? You were going to inherit the throne anyway. I don't get it. And I tell you what, Kate and William, they have let the, the firm poison their minds against Harry and Meghan. You know, they're all a bunch of racists in the firm. They hated that when Meghan married Harry didn't come and make them coffee anymore. Give me a break. Give me a break. So they started leaking. It all came from the firm, leaking. They're telling William, oh, she did this. Oh, she did that. Blah, 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 blah. And he goes along with it. This is your brother who supported you when you married a commoner and treated her like she was a princess. He gets married and then she wants to turn up her nose and act like she's all that in a bag of chips. Give me a break. My nieces went to school with Meghan. Meghan is a sweet girl. She's very nice. I've met her maybe 3 times when she was in high school. Hello?
Go right ahead. I said, lucky you.
Yeah, she was just a teenager, 13, 14, 15 years old. They went to Immaculate Heart together. And she was a sweet kid. She was not a nasty, vicious, mean girl, none of that. That is all the press saying these things about this young lady. That's what pissed me off. When I started hearing what the UK was writing and how the royal family was and the firm was going along with this, that angered me. Now I'm really pissed. They're going to make me join Twitter. I don't like Twitter. I have avoided Twitter. But they're going to make me join Twitter so that I can correct them.
So now you're on these Twitter streets on the front line.
See, and this young, I'm going to tell you about Meghan. Meghan may be sweet. She may be intelligent. She may be a nice girl, but she can come around and turn on them. See, she's not going to be the one to do that. Harry is going to take them down. Harry, because Harry has all the inside info on all of them. And that is what they are terrified. They are terrified of this young man and what he has seen over the past 6 years of their dirt.
You know,
these are some dirty people.
I always try to I 100% understand what you're saying, and I do believe that Harry, if he wanted to, could absolutely say or do something that would really put a dent in the monarchy. But then I always bring it back to what both Harry and Meghan have actually said. And Harry himself said that despite everything, he still has a great deal of compassion for his family and the fact that, as far as he's concerned, they're trapped. So
these last 2 weeks showed Harry that they have no compassion for him or his wife or his children. So I think all the gloves are off right now. You cannot treat somebody like they did him and expect for him to just fall in line and go along with the crap. This boy saw what these people think of him. Oh, he can't wear his uniform. Oh, yeah, he can wear his uniform, but we cut off the amulet on his shoulder. Yeah, he can walk behind the curtain, but he can't wear his uniform. Blah, 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 blah. And they isolated and segregated Meghan. And it was on camera for the world to see. And when he gets back here, he's back here now. I'm pretty sure he's adding a few things onto that book. Now, I'm not saying that Harry will intentionally go after his family. I don't think he would do that. But he's going to correct some things. And they better all strap up because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh, thank you so much, Reba. You woke up and chose violence, and I'm here for it.
No, I'm not talking about violence. I'm not talking about violence. I would not commit violence against anybody.
Metaphorically.
But I'll tell you this. I'm Meghan is much nicer than me. She is much nicer than me because I would have let all of them have it.
Well,
she's from Los Angeles now, so she could go that way.
Oh, thank you so much, Reba. Thank you.
I love you, Duchess Anne. Love you, love you, love you.
Love you too. I love you all.
Take
can I just
care,
ask?
darling.
Thank you. You too. Can I just ask if you have already spoken? If you could just leave the back end, just because I want to start, because we're going over 2 hours. So I want to give everyone who's already in the chat a chance to speak. But I'm not going to be taking any more. So if you have spoken, if you could just come out of the back end, please. Nadine, I will let you on, but you have to turn your camera off, hon. So it's just audio only. So I'm going to go to Mary now. Hello, Mary. Mary? Do you want to unmute yourself? Yeah, you've got to unmute yourself, darling.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that you know, this reported commentators, they tell on themselves, because I watched one of the many documentaries on the royal family, and one of them, I was actually quite shocked by this. One of them said that those courtiers work until about 12 p.m. and and when Meghan came and started emailing them um at 5:30 p.m., they all got angry. I was like, oh, I was quite surprised. So that's all I wanted to say.
All right. And how did you watch any of the funeral? How do you just feel about the events of the last 2 weeks in general?
Well, at the right beginning, I started watching 2 hours each. I couldn't stand it after 2 hours. Then that on Monday I watched the whole funeral, and it was the whole day, wasn't it? It was from 5 it was from 10:30 till about 4 5 o'clock in the evening. It wasn't it? It was too long for me.
Yeah, it was very, very long. It was very long. It was a very, very long they're like the last march to Windsor. It was I think that was like the longest part for me anyway. I was actually at my mum's house when that was going on. But thank you so much as always, Mary, for ringing in. Nadine, I will let you speak, but I need you to turn off your camera, hun. I don't know if you can hear me. I need you to turn off your camera because it's audio only. Can you hear? Oh, lovely. Okay.
Let me try.
There you go.
Oh, I
Okay,
have
we can
so
hear you
much.
now. Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. We can hear you, and that's fine. Hello. Okay, now you're. Okay, there's something wrong with her audio. So, Agnes, I'm gonna let you on.
Oh, hi everyone. It's been quite a traumatic 2 weeks. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sweetheart. Go ahead.
Yeah, hiya. what I wanted to say is
the royal family is like literally dying on its feet. You know, there's like a total lack of intelligence across the board. I feel as though the pettiness is just ridiculous. But also, I think the media is literally, I mean, I know they're losing money. They can't make any money. So this is why they're continually using Harry and Meghan to get the click. So it's kind of like we're all of us here in the UK. It's almost like we're witnessing kind of the end of the royal family, because I just can't see, just nothing they're doing is legitimate. It's crazy. It's just hateful. I don't know. I mean, Anne, what are your thoughts on this? Because I'm sort of flummoxed by everything that's happened. To be honest with you, I'm in a state of shock.
My thoughts are that I booked a one-way ticket
Hello?
to Portugal. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I mean, I can hear you. Can you hear me, sweetheart? Oh, I think you've...
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me? I think you've gone a bit. Okay, I'm gonna mute you, Agnes, and then I'll let you back in a moment, and I will tell you what my thoughts are. Nadine, let's try you again. Oh, there's a bit of echo, Nadine. I don't know if it's because you have the podcast open on another window.
Speaking on my
Yeah, just sort out the echo, and I will let you. I can see you. You've actually got on the back end two connections. So you've got to remove one. Okay, so I'm gonna let Lit Lane, and then so after Lit Lane and Nadine, that'll be. I won't be taking any more callers for today. But since you all seem to be very, very keen to say a lot, I will do another open call. You tell me in the chat, when do you think is the best day if I'm going to do live calls? When do you think is the best day? Do you think a Friday around this time is a good time to do it? You like put it in the chat and tell me, and then I can decide that that's going to be the day where everyone can kind of release some steam and we can have a chat. Lit Lane?
Hi.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. I think for me, I'll always try to catch up with you guys. But what is
Oh dear. Technology is not on our side, so I'm gonna mute you for a sec, hun. Oh, what's going on there? Nadine, let's try you
Hello.
again. Hello. Do you wanna speak? Hello, Nadine. All right. Okay. I think we're having a little bit of sound issues with the last two, so I'm so sorry, but I am gonna have to end it there. But thank you so much. Maybe call in next week and we can try and have you on. I'm so sorry about that. But to everyone who has come up and spoken today, thank you so much. Thank you for being so raw and honest, and you know, I always try to give everyone a fair say here. And before we finish, I have to say thank you to Elaine Parker for the super sticker, to Gina George, and also to Patricia RN for the super sticker, and everyone who gave through PayPal on other platforms as well. Yeah, it's been it's definitely been the most eventful 2 weeks since I started this podcast, and the most, I think, emotion filled, as many of you have said. And I'm just so honored that you trust this space that I've created for us to vent and to talk and to come together. I will just finish by saying one thing that I have taken from all of this, and I think what I take from Meghan is never be afraid to face your bullies. face your bullies with grace, and really just focus on being your best self, on your success, because nobody can really take that away from you. And at the end of the day, all of the work that Harry and Meghan are doing, that still stands. Their success still stands. It doesn't matter what the press, what the establishment throw at them. They have a strong fan base who support them, and it's because of the amazing people that they are. And when you're an amazing person, you inspire others. And look at what they've inspired right now. There are over 1,200 people in this chat. And that is what we should all aspire to inspire people so much that they take action in their own lives, that they create community, that they give back. I don't know what the Centre Ballet fundraiser is at, but last time I checked, it was 30,000. That is absolutely incredible. And that is all of you, Sussex Squad. That is all of you. So I want you all to be proud of yourselves. And I know the noise can get a lot, but in the middle of all the noise, just remember all of this. Let me put this back on the screen. All of these amazing things that Harry and Meghan are accomplishing, and you should take inspiration from this as well. We should all take inspiration from this. You go do your 40 times 40, and if you're a woman in a top position, you go and mentor someone for an hour. If you have disposable income, donate to charity. You work on your creative project, podcast, mini movie, whatever it is that you're interested in, right? You apply for that amazing job that you've always wanted to apply for. You go do that master's degree. Do what's going to uplift you in life. So with that, I will end with a couple of your comments, and then we will wrap it up. Wow, 2-hour 15-minute podcast. Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Okay, you're all saying like Friday is a good day. All right. Nadine Palmer, I can see you've come back into the chat. I'm going to try you one more time. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to speak. If the internet is working, I will let you speak. Right, let's try one more time.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, go right ahead, darling.
I've been trying. I'm Africa, KwaZulu Natal, Durban. I've been trying to speak for the past 3 hours. I love your podcast, and I feel like you're motivational and you everything this world needs at this point in life. So I'm here just to spread some like beautiful words about Meghan, because I feel like Meghan holds not only people from your country or from America or from all Black women around the world. I just feel like Meghan is someone who I feel like she's the blueprint for women all around the world, and she needs to just make a blue stamp for all of us and show that like Black women mean something. So I had more to say, but I'm not too sure if I can. But I want to say more than that, because I just feel like the way she's been treated at the royal family. I've been following it from like a week ago when the Queen died on the Thursday. I've been live streaming everything on my iPad from like the UK news and media, and I feel like they've just been dragging her and putting her down and being so negative about her. But if I look at her, I feel like she's one brave, flippant, strong woman who's been holding our name and our torch up like alive for every Black woman around the world. And I feel like people should stop being so negative and stop putting her down and stop, you know, doing all this crap, because I feel like she's standing for something better than how people are portraying her, or the lies they're trying to put on her, or the media tabloids in the UK or the papers what they're trying to stick on her. I feel like it's so bad, because I just feel like she's more than that. And people just need to take a second to step back and look at her and reflect and just see what she's here for. Because I feel like she's a legend, she's an icon, she's a face for all Black women around the world. And it might not look good now, but in many years to come, I'm only like 20, like 28, but I feel like in years to come, she's going to be a face that every woman around the world is going to recognize, because she's something powerful. Hello.
I think you cut for a little second there, but I loved every single word that you said, and I'm so glad I gave you your last 2 minutes, because that was very uplifting.
Thank
and
you.
I agree. Thank you so much, Nadine. Have a
Thank you for having me.
lovely day, darling. Thank you. All right, everyone. Now I can see in the comments, there's a couple of questions. Giselle said, what is the name of your book? So I have 2 books. One is called Passport Ready, The Ultimate Guide to Solo Female Travel, and the other is called The Way of the Wildflower. So if you want to buy my books, link is there, but it's always in the description box if you're interested in buying the book. Let's see a couple of your comments before we go. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you to the mods. Oh, you've done an amazing job today, because I could not keep up with the chat today, and you have been swatting those hater flies away. So thank you so much, as usual, to the mods. You are amazing. Okay, Adessa, my daughter chose to support One World Kitchen recently. I was so proud because she knows someone's got it. Oh, that is amazing. And I really do believe that giving back feeds your soul. And it feeds your soul, I think, a lot more than just bowing down and worshipping people that don't care about you. And I think I said this in another podcast. I just find it amazing how people line up for 15 hours to go bow to the Queen's coffin, but they can't even do 1 hour at their food kitchen. Wild. Okay, we'll just finish up with a couple of your comments and then we'll call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone. Really, really, really appreciate it. You're all amazing. Yes, Marilyn, power is in numbers, and what amazing numbers we have. Yes, Raquel, the moderators are Avengers. They are Avengers. All right, JM, I'm going to give you the last word of the day before we dance and salsa our way out. Meghan, never give up. You took a punch, but you are strong. This too shall pass always. Remember, Harry, Archie, Lily, and Doria love you and adore you. And so many people are in your corner. And I would say those exact same words to anyone who feels that they are down right now. Sometimes we do take a punch, but we are strong. We can get back up. And there are always people that love us and that are in our corner. So I give all of you my love. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, evening, morning, wherever you are. And yeah, if there's any updates, we shall have a podcast tomorrow. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend and let's dance our way out. You have been fabulous, everyone. Bye.
woman I've ever heard of in my life. You're literally on the street arguing about Meghan Markle. She's here successful. She's here successful. She's here successful.